Men with big pot bellies. In the heart of the Nigerian village of Umama, a curious tradition had been kept alive for generations. It was a place where status wasn't marked by wealth or land but by the size of a man's belly. To be a man of honor, a man ready to marry, a man had to have a prominent pot belly. The bigger the belly, the more respected he was. The women of Umama had grown up hearing from their mothers that a man without a pot belly couldn't be trusted. He was either too hasty or too poor, they said, neither of which was suited for marriage. And so, young men, eager to prove their worth and gain the admiration of the women, would gather every evening to drink palm wine, the elixir that would, in time, grant them the rounded stomachs they needed. Among these young men was Aenna, a skinny but hardworking farmer, deeply in love with Aenna, the most beautiful woman in the village. Aenna and Aenna had grown up together, sharing stories under the shade of the mango trees, laughing and running through the fields. Everyone in Umama knew of their love, but there was one problem: Aenna had no pot belly. He was as lean as the cassava stalks in his fields, and this put him at a disadvantage. Aenna's father, Okonko, a man whose own belly was large and proud, had made it clear that only a man with a sizable belly could marry his daughter. Heartbroken but determined, Aenna decided he would do whatever it took to get the coveted pot belly. He had seen his friends, who once had frames as slender as his, grow rounded and robust after months of drinking palm wine. So, every evening, after working on his farm, Aenna would join the other men at the village square, sitting under the big baobab tree as they shared calabashes filled with rich, foamy palm wine. The elders, Chief Obina and Elder Kolu, presided over these drinking sessions. They'd watch the young men drink, sometimes nodding approvingly when they saw a belly beginning to round out. These elders were the custodians of the tradition, and they themselves bore large, proud bellies that announced their status and wisdom. Months went by, and though Aenna drank tirelessly, his belly barely grew. His friends began to tease him, saying he was cursed with a small belly spirit, a mischievous spirit that refused to let him grow a pot belly. Aenna's spirit was nearly broken, but the thought of Adora's smile kept him going. He was ready to do anything to win the approval of her father and the elders. One day, as Aenna was walking back from the palm wine session, he met an old man named Nana, who was known for his knowledge of ancient village secrets. Nana had a belly so large it seemed he'd been blessed by the gods themselves. But he was also a solitary figure, not often seen at the village gatherings. "Why do you look so troubled, young man?" Nana asked, his voice a deep, slow rumble. Aenna explained his struggle. He told Nana of his love for Aenna and his desire to marry her, but how his belly refused to grow despite all his efforts. Nana chuckled, a sound like distant thunder. "You think palm wine alone can give you a belly like this?" he asked, patting his own formidable stomach. "It is more than just drink, my boy. There is a ritual, one that most young men today have forgotten." Curiosity lit up Aenna's eyes. He begged Nana to tell him more, and after some hesitation, the old man agreed. "Meet me at dawn, near the riverbank," Nana instructed. "Bring with you a calabash, 2 kola nuts, and a feather from a black rooster." The next morning, as the mist hovered over the river, Aenna was there with the items Nana had requested. Nana arrived shortly after, his belly swaying slightly as he walked. He placed the items in a circle on the ground and instructed Aenna to sit within it. Then he poured a thick, dark liquid into Aenna's calabash, a brew he said was made from the roots of sacred plants, blessed by the spirits. "This," Nana said, handing the calabash to Aenna, "will help your belly grow, but you must not speak of this ritual to anyone. The spirits favor secrecy." Aenna drank the thick brew, which had a strange, bitter taste, and closed his eyes as Nana chanted ancient words. He felt warmth spreading through his body, a strange, pleasant heaviness settling in his stomach. By the time the ritual ended, Aenna felt as though he was carrying a small stone in his belly. Over the next few weeks, Aenna noticed his belly growing. He didn't stop attending the evening drinking sessions with the other men, but now, his belly began to swell with a pride of its own. The elders took notice, nodding approvingly as they saw him. Even Adora's father, Okonkwo, began to look at him differently, impressed by his transformation. Finally, the day came when Aenna's belly was round and firm enough to rival any man in Umama. The villagers marveled at the change, and Adora's father could no longer deny him. Aenna and Adora were allowed to marry in a joyous ceremony, with the whole village celebrating the union. But the story didn't end there. Years later, as Aenna sat with a group of young men eager to follow in his footsteps, he shared with them the importance of patience, commitment, and a secret ritual passed down by the old man Nana. He would not reveal the details, but he told them that sometimes, true growth comes from more than what can be seen or touched. It required faith, respect for tradition, and the courage to try what others might not understand. As time went on, Aenna's story turned into a legend among the villagers. The young men, in their excitement to build impressive bellies, now came to see him, hoping he would reveal the hidden ritual in detail. But Aenna remained faithful to Nana's instruction, saying only that true worth came not just from drinking palm wine but from respecting the ancestors and the wisdom of the elders. One day, a young man named Obioma, eager to impress his own beloved, approached Aenna. Obioma was ambitious, known for his impatience, and believed he could find a shortcut to gaining the pot belly he so desired. "Please, Uncle Aenna," Obioma pleaded, "tell me what Nane told you. I don't want to wait months for the palm wine to work. I'm ready now." Aenna looked at Obioma, seeing the same youthful determination he'd once carried, but he also saw the impatience in Obioma's eyes. Shaking his head, Aenna said, "Obioma, a true man learns that nothing worth having comes easily. To grow a belly like mine, you must respect the process and the spirits that bless it. There is no shortcut." Frustrated, Obioma muttered under his breath, "Why should I wait like the others? I'll find my own way." Ignoring Aenna's words, Obioma turned to a few of the village's younger men, convincing them that Aenna was hiding a faster method and that he could uncover it. One night, while the villagers slept, Obioma and his friends decided to go into the forest where Nana had once taken Aenna. Obioma believed that if he followed the path and performed a ritual of his own, he would discover the secret to a quick belly. As they moved deeper into the woods, they chanted and laughed, feeling brave and defiant. But the spirits of Umama were not pleased with Obioma's arrogance. The forest grew darker, the shadows stretching long and eerie. The sound of rustling leaves became louder, and strange, faint voices seemed to echo all around them. Obioma's friends began to feel uneasy, but he laughed, mocking the spirits. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the trees, and a thick mist rose up from the ground. Out of the fog emerged an elderly figure, Nana, his face stern and disappointed. "Young men," he spoke in a deep, commanding voice, "you have disrespected the sacred ways. You think you can demand the blessings of the ancestors with impatience and arrogance." Obioma, frightened but still stubborn, responded, "Elder, we only wanted to find the shortcut to the pot belly. Why should we wait and suffer when there might be an easier way?" Nana shook his head. "There is no honor in shortcuts. The ancestors bless those who respect time, patience, and humility. You have not only insulted the spirits, but you have brought trouble upon yourselves." With a wave of his hand, the mist thickened, swirling around Obioma and his friends. The young men felt an overwhelming heaviness in their stomachs, as if stones had been placed inside them. In panic, they clutched their bellies, only to find that they had grown large and hard in an instant, but these bellies felt nothing like the pot bellies of Umama. They felt burdensome, uncomfortable, and cursed. The next day, the villagers found Obioma and his friends stumbling out of the forest, their bellies swollen but with faces pale and filled with regret. They could barely walk, each step bringing pain rather than pride. Aenna, hearing of their misadventure, shook his head sadly. Now do you see, Umama? The true pot belly is more than flesh, it is the patience, respect, and wisdom a man earns over time. Umama and his friends humbly apologized, realizing their mistake. They learned the hard way that true growth was a journey, one that demanded patience and reverence. In time, the heaviness faded, but the lesson stayed with them. From that day, every young man of Umama, whether eager or reluctant, came to understand that the path to manhood was about more than appearance, it was about learning patience, respecting tradition, and working with honor. And so, the pot belly remained a symbol of not only readiness for marriage but also the depth of a man's character and his respect for the village's heritage. And Aenna, with his wife Edora by his side, would watch proudly as the new generation took to heart the lesson he had learned so long ago, that there was no shortcut to true worth, for true worth was built with respect and dedication, one drop of palm wine at a time.